Thank you for joining us. Sweet, sweet coffee. Robin, Michael, Ted.
Hey,
How are you?
good. How are you? What do you put cream in your coffee?
I'm doing all right. In the morning, I have cream in my coffee. In the afternoon, it's black.
Nice. I used to go through a phase where I was drinking vanilla lattes for a really long time, and then I realized it's probably not the best idea. So now I drink black coffee too.
Yeah, vanilla lattes. That's like dessert. It's like a bowl of ice cream, basically.
Yeah. Well, I didn't. So that's what I like started drinking coffee, and then I realized that maybe it wasn't the healthiest of choices. So I reeled it back in. That's like a if I've worked hard and I deserve some vanilla lattes.
All right. That's the best part of going up for a long, long bike ride and stopping at a cafe in the middle and having a piece of pie. Like no guilt, no guilt,
No guilt, exactly.
and a mocha.
Yum. An
All
ice
right, I'm gonna
mocha is good.
put down the coffee cup. How's your day been?
I'm actually really relieved it started raining because it packed down all the pollen. So
Yeah.
being
My
positive about that.
way to look on the bright side.
Thanks, Matt.
We needed some rain. My eyes are still itchy, but hey,
You
uh,
gotta find it where you can.
I tell you what, I need a glass of wine so bad right now. Man,
Yeah. What's
some days are more wine
yeah?
inducing than others. Um,
The middle of the week. It's
whew,
probably about time.
my God. Um, hey, I heard the scientific community has figured out that the spread of coronavirus depends on two things.
Hmm.
You know what they are?
What are they?
How dense the population is, and how dense the population is.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I like that one.
Did you Google it, or was
I,
that
I,
all you?
I find all these jokes online,
Love the
and they're
internet.
not attributed. I would attribute to them, but they're not attributed. Hey, let's get into some wine. We got some
Let's do it.
2017 Mourvdre Sugarloaf Vineyard.
I'm very excited for
Mourvdre,
the
baby.
Mourved. So
Who
this
else?
is different.
Who else out there is drinking Mourvdre? Oh, I should say. Wait. I skipped straight over the introduction and went to the wine. Okay, I'm gonna have my first sip of wine, and then I'll do the introduction. You guys can wait a minute. Jeez.
Chill out, everybody.
Mmm. I feel better already. All right, everybody. Welcome to the 11 Winery Virtual Happy Hour, bringing together you, the 11 Nation, for great wine fun online style, kicking it live on Instagram and Facebook simultaneously. If you're on Instagram, you can see Natayla. There she is. And if you're on Facebook, you can see me and you can hear Natayla on the
Hey
audio.
guys.
Woo. Boom. Um, Let me just turn on my phone to make sure everybody can hear Natayla. All right. Craziness. So just because you're staying home and staying safe like we are, does not mean you have to stay sober. Today we are not staying sober with the 2017 Mourvdre Sugarloaf Vineyard. Awesome.
Really looking
As
forward to
you
this.
probably know, as many of you know, Mourvdre is our specialty here at 11 Winery. Many years ago, when I probably like the first year that I got introduced to wine, early on when I started drinking wine. Um, I was at a little French restaurant with my then fiance in Palo Alto, California, and we picked a wine. I don't even remember if we picked a wine at random off a list or if it was recommended to us or what, but it was a Domaine Tempier from Bandol in the south of France, which, as it turns out, is Mourvèdre. And I was just so taken with this wine. It's just so smooth and dark and rich, and unlike anything else that I had tasted at all. Um, there was nothing like, and we were living in California, and so tasting a lot of California wines, and there was just nothing like that out of California. It was just really remarkable. I loved it. So many years later, when I started my own winery, I always thought, wow, it'd be really cool to make something like that, to make Mourvdre. And it was a bunch of years on, even in the winery development process, before I was able to locate a source of Mourvdre fruit in Washington State. So, but here we are. So
Here we are.
2009, we started making Mourvdre, and here we go.
We've been here ever since.
Yeah.
So this is the 17 Mourvdre, which is different from the 18 Mourvdre and the white Mourvdre, which we have.
Oh, you mean when you say 18 Mourvdre, you mean the Prodigy?
The Prodigy, my bad.
The current release, if there in fact is any of that left still, might be a couple bottles.
I have a few bottles here. How would you describe?
Speaking of which, how much of this do we have available? The 17. I think we have quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty stocked
at least
here.
Several dozen cases. You should be okay. If you want to get some of this, you can still get it for a little while.
It's true. And we are having a case sale for club members only, starting on the 30th.
What?
Yeah.
Case sale? What?
I was like, did you not know, Matt? A case sale starting in the 30th of April. So
what's a case sale?
So for members only, you can get discounted cases, which is 12 bottles of wine. It depends on what you're getting, but if you get a full case of a single varietal wine, that's 35% off, and then 30% off for a mixed case.
35%?
Mm-hmm.
Man, we're going to be cleaned out.
I know. Well, get this, Matt. If you buy a case of the rosé,
I love that stuff.
That's 40% off.
40%?
I know.
Holy crap. That's a spectacular deal.
Spring cleaning.
All right, well, don't tell anyone.
My lips are sealed. You heard it here, guys.
In fact, to the contrary, we have a little bit more of that stuff than we thought we would have at this point, having been closed to tastings for a while. So, yeah, you guys can help us clear some of that out. And we're giving you an extra incentive to help us do it.
Exactly.
So there we go. We'll look forward to those orders. So place your orders next Thursday. So really, it's the May Day sale.
May Day!
May 1st, 2nd, 3rd. You can is when you can come pick up your wine. You can start placing orders on the 30th. There's more details. Read your email. Read your email, people.
Yeah.
If you want to find out more, you can join our wine club and then read your email.
And then read benefits.
If you're not, yeah, boom.
There you go.
Okay, so we talked about that. You were asking me a question, though, I think.
Yes, I was. So can you quickly describe the size or what the grapes of Mourvdre grapes look like?
Yeah, they're unusually large. In the spectrum of wine grapageness, Mourvdre grapes are pretty big, which still, I mean, they're still way smaller than table grapes, but like much larger than Petit Verdot or Cab Sauv or Syrah, some of those other varieties. They're good sized. So which is why one of the things that we do, we crush the grapes, and then we pull out about 20% of the juice out after we crush the grapes, and use that to make rosé. That juice to make rosé. And that process is called saignée, and that concentrates the red wine. So you've taken out some of the juice, but left all the skins in there and all the flavor and color in the skin. So by taking out a bunch of the juice, you make the red wine more intense. Yeah, I read. Somebody said they read somewhere that Mourvdre has small berries. I'm like, what? That's absolutely untrue. That's craziness. And then, so they forwarded me this link from Wikipedia, like, blah, blah, blah. And Wikipedia, like, cited, like, Alice Fearing or some famous wine writer, which just goes to show you, like, some wine writer makes a mistake in something that they write, or maybe it's a typo, or maybe they got it wrong, or whatever, who knows, and then it gets cited by Wikipedia, and then it gets cited by everybody, and then those pages get cited by Wikipedia, and it becomes just this echo chamber of error.
A lot
So
of
don't believe everything you read online, is what I'm saying.
Well, when I was in school, I was told never to use Wikipedia for research because you can edit it as just a normal person on the internet.
There you go.
There you go.
Fix it. Make it
Avoid
better.
Wikipedia.
Robin and Mike say they've already had 2 shipments in the past month. And
Question
what?
mark?
Question mark? I mean, the 1st of May is like, I mean, let me know what you're thinking. But the 1st of May is like, I mean, it's a week and a half away.
Yeah, you can go through a lot of wine in a week.
Stock up. Oh, I see. So they're touting their. So thank you very much for those.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys are awesome. Keep up the good work. We appreciate it. I don't understand why all these people are stocking up on toilet paper when what you really need to deal with your spouse and children is more wine.
Yes.
Toilet paper.
You can hide behind bottles of wine. You don't need to hide behind toilet paper. You guys are fine.
You guys are awesome.
So, in the lineup of the Mourvdre, and during harvest season, you have a schedule of when you pick it and you harvest the grapes. Where does the Mourvdre for this vintage fall into place?
Mourvdre is very much towards the end. Yeah, it's not usually the very last thing. Often the Petit Verdot is the very last thing, but this one, the Mourvdre, is pretty much the second to last. It's right at the tail end. In fact, in France, this is what the vineyard manager, when we first started getting Mourvdre, told me, because he had lived and owned a vineyard in France prior to becoming the vineyard manager at Elephant Mountain. He said, in France, what they say, you know what they say about Mourvdre? He said, "Ça mûrit jamais," which means that never ripens.
Sounds cooler in French.
Ça mûrit jamais. Ouais. It does. So, in fact, in Eastern, that's one of the great things about Eastern Washington. Very consistently warm climate. We can get stuff like that ripe. You know, we get it right too, but ripe on a consistent basis. Yeah.
Huh.
Petit Verdot is another example of that.
So,
like even in Bordeaux, which we talked about yesterday, in the Petit Verdot only really gets ripe enough, like 1 year out of 4, and the other 3 out of 4 years they're just using it to paint the barrels. Like literally, I'm serious, not making this up.
really?
Like if you see a picture of a cellar in Bordeaux where the center section of the barrel between the first 2 hoops is all like nice wine color, they did that with Petit Verdot.
Yeah.
That was not ripe enough to drink.
Oh my gosh. The more you know.
Phil Pond, say Phil.
So in terms of climate for this vintage, the 17 that we're tasting right now, what is different about the climate for this one and the taste of this one than compared to, say, the Prodigy, which is our lighter bodied?
So those are, well, so 17, the distinguishing characteristic of the 17, as you can smell, and anybody else who's drinking the 17 with us can smell, smoke. Wildfire smoke, baby.
It's not overwhelmingly smoky, though, which is nice.
Yeah, it's like, but it's
there.
To a winemaker's nose, it's very distinct. Yeah, but you're right. It's not overwhelming, and some people really, really like it. It's definitely there, and it's not like some wines I've tasted, some smoke-affected wines that I've tasted. They have like an ashtray kind of finish to them, which is really unpleasant, which this wine absolutely does not have.
Yeah.
But it's definitely gives you the sense that maybe it's been sitting around the campfire for a while. And there was one day, so there was a lot of wildfires in 2017 and 2018, and a lot of smoke in the air. And there was one day when I was driving out to the vineyard in the evening, like I usually do before harvest the next day, and driving down into Yakima out of the hills, you could smell the smoke in the air, which was unusual because the nearest fire was like back west of Ellensburg, quite a ways away.
Oh, wow.
So just the particular wind conditions that brought the smoke close to the ground there in Yakima, such that you could really smell it strongly, was remarkable. Um, and then, we get a lot of fruit from this immediate vicinity, and this is the only one that where you can actually taste the smoke in it. So something about um, where the grapes were in their development, and um, yeah, I mean, not all that much is known. It's like about the specific biology of like how smoke gets like into the grapes. I mean, it's taken up by the leaves. It's not on the fruit. It's taken up through the plant, and
Okay.
the same way
Just gonna
the
ask.
leaves make sugar from photosynthesis and like push that down into the fruit, right? So there's a transport path from the leaves down into the fruit. Same, so the smoke gets into the leaves and then gets caught up in that and pushed down into the fruit. But like the exact timing and why it happens with some varieties and not others, and up to that point, the research said you really got to be right next to the fire. It's got to be really intense, really smoky for you to be able to taste it in the wine. And there was no smoke in this for a year. I mean,
Weird.
it wasn't until after we bottled. Well, this wine we could taste it before bottling, but the 17 Prodigy that was bottled in August tasted smoke free until October. So a year later um, was when we first started tasting the smoke on it.
That's pretty cool. How it kind of it takes time to get that flavor into it.
It's fun for me how the things that I think are like a nightmare you think are cool, and
It's
like
very fascinating.
other people think, yeah, it's neat. Okay, great.
See, that you got to look at it from 2 different ways, Matt.
I know. Yeah, it's great.
I think it's great. I'm just
I
gonna
try hard. I try really hard to see it. Um, no, it's scary. As a winemaker, it's scary that like wine can be tasting fine, and then after it's bottled, can suddenly change in a way that was unpredictable. Any unpredictable change in the bottle is bad. Like that's not the kind of thing you want to have, even if it turns out to be like okay and interesting and kind of cool, um, and really reflective of the vintage. In this case, like, hey, check it out. There was a ton of wildfires. Like, here we go. Um,
Well, yeah. Take it for what you will. At least it worked out in a beneficial way because this is a really awesome wine.
oh, thank you.
I like that you
Um,
can taste the fruit in it still, with that hint of smoke, that
yeah.
those berries. And that one are nice.
Um, so some of our fans really like the smoke. John Brenner says there's never enough smoke. Uh,
Of course, John.
so, uh, so that's perfect. Of the three different styles of Mourvdre that we make, as you pointed out, this one is the richest, most full-bodied. So we harvest the Mourvdre at three different times. We harvest earliest for the white Mourvdre, the one that gets pressed directly to juice and made into white wine. That one's first, and then next is the Prodigy, which is the lighter style, lighter bodied. So earlier harvest, less skin contact time, and then the this one, the Sugarloaf Vineyard, is the latest harvest, most mature, gets the longest, the most skin contact, most maceration time during fermentation, and then the longest barrel age too. So it's kind of the richest, most robust of the three.
You didn't mention the Deputy, that vintage that we have.
Right, which is it's been in and out of the lineup,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the reason it's called the Deputy is because it's like the stand-in for this wine. In the years when we haven't had a Sugarloaf Vineyard designated wine, which there have been two of those, maybe there's probably a third coming up. When we've ended up doing a blend of grapes from different blocks, that wine. So we think of where this one maybe is the sheriff, the other one is the deputy.
Okay, so that's how those two compare.
Yeah. So it fills the same slot in the lineup. It's the same style.
Okay.
Just the deputy doesn't qualify for that vineyard designated there's a vineyard designation.
Okay. Interesting. So all the wines that you have that are Mourvdre are 100% single varietal wines?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
is that common to have Mourvdre as a single varietal wine?
no, not at all. It's commonly used in blends. Phil Pons, who's a firefighter, has written a nice little blurb here in the comments on wildfire smoke. Um, so, um, Mourvdre is used in a lot of blends. There's one you might have heard, GSM. A lot of people talk about GSM blends.
Yeah.
There's a common it's a Rhone style blend, Grenache, Syrah, Mourvdre. Where in the Rhone, the dominant grape in a lot of the blends is Grenache. So that's where GSM comes from. So it's definitely used in blends in different ways. I think it's rarer to find it in a varietal wine than it is in a blend of some kind.
So these ones are a little more unique.
Definitely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Love that.
Hey, do you know what time it is?
What time is it, Matt?
It's time to play How Does That Taste with Viognier?
I'm waiting for this.
Here we go. I know you're probably saying, what the heck? You're going to take your flagship red wine and you're going to adulterate it with some Viognier? Yes, we are.
Absolutely.
Because we're crazy like that. All right. So I got myself a little pour. A little dab will do you. We're just going to take a little tiny bit Viognier. When we did this with the Prodigy, whoop, might have been too much. When we did this with the Prodigy, it was really cool, actually. So I'm kind of interested to see how this goes. The smoke adds a whole other dimension to it. Ted's asking, does the smoke increase or decrease with bottle age? I think it actually increases with bottle age, because when we started out with this, well, there was less. I mean, it'll reach a level at a certain point, but the reason it can appear later on is because those smoke compounds can bind with other stuff in the wine, and then over time they will uncombine. And when they're combined, you can't taste them, can't smell them, can't taste them. Might as well not be there. And then they'll decombine, and then poof, all of a sudden they'll appear. That's why it's scary. And I have not ever heard any recombination. So I never heard of smoke effect diminishing over time, only increasing. I think this one is probably maxed out at this point. When this has been in the bottle, I mean, you could taste the smoke before we bottled it a year ago, and it's been in the bottle for a better part of a year at this point. So I think we've reached a steady state on the smokiness, but there aren't probably really any long-term studies on smoke effect in wine.
How does it smell?
It smells really nice. I mean, the Viognier has those great aromatics, so it provides a little bit of a nice lift to it. Tastes really nice, kind of elevates the fruit a little bit. The smoke is still there. Definitely the Viognier brings the fruit kind of forward, which is, I think, why the Viognier is used in co-fermentation and blends in the Rhone quite a bit.
Just because it elevates a lot of the fruit. I can see that.
I really like it. I mean, I think it would be even better in a wine that wasn't smoke affected. I think it would be an even nicer addition. Yeah, I like it. I think Mourvdre and Viognier are a winning combination.
Hey, so it's a thumbs up.
I think we're going to have to explore that further in the future.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
So then, it's not horrible because it's not ideal because it has the smoke with the Viognier, but with if it didn't have that smoky essence in it, you think it'd be better with the Viognier?
Yeah, even better.
Even better. So now, what would you go ahead and pair this 17 Mourvdre with if you were going to do a meal with the wine?
I don't know. What would you pair it with, Natayla?
I don't know. Well, because I'm thinking the smoke, part of me wants to do something.
I know, right?
Something smoked.
Something smoky. Something
Pork, maybe?
smoked salmon.
Ooh, that
Uh,
could be good.
or yeah, like cedar plank salmon.
That sounds amazing.
That would be really good, actually. I think with this wine, you've kind of got a rare opportunity to pair it with something smoky
Absolutely.
in a way that you wouldn't have with virtually any other wine. So I think yeah, like some cedar plank
Ooh.
salmon, something smoky would be amazing.
Brisket, says Phil. Lisa says lamb. I can get down with all of those.
Thank you
You
guys
know,
for jumping in.
what we do have here at our tasting room is some leftover, sorry, some cheese that we have moved from our Day Road location to here,
Oh yeah, that's right.
Mount Townsend cheese, but we have Campfire Jack cheese,
Yeah.
which could potentially be really awesome with the
That would be good. Yeah.
And I have plenty. I'm looking at it. If you guys want to get some, because Mount Townsend Creamery is not.
They're closed.
They're closed. So we have the cheese.
Sadly for all of us, the very last place on earth where you can get Mount Townsend cheese is 11 Winery on Bainbridge Island.
Pork stroganoff.
Not for long.
Not
Not
for long. It's going fast.
Okay. What else do you got?
Ooh, I'm just reading these comments. Sirloin's topped with lemon, paprika, shrimp, creme fraiche, mashed potatoes, and roasted green beans. Yum.
Will we ship it? Yes. Heck yeah, we'll ship
Yeah.
it. Lisa's coming by tomorrow. Right on.
Hey, well, I'll be here tomorrow. You guys can hang out with me. Come get some wine. You can
hang out. I don't know. Let's be careful there.
hang out from the door. We can talk for maybe 2 minutes while we exchange. We do the whole wine exchange.
Safely from a safe distance.
That's what I meant. I apologize.
Yeah. No. It's fine. I mean, as long as there's not a lineup of people waiting, separated out down the sidewalk by 6 feet apart.
Absolutely.
Okay. We're gonna get new meaning to the whole thing. The whole phrase "social distancing."
Oh yes.
Distance socialing? I don't know. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Good.
unless you have any more burning, I'm happy to answer any more burning questions.
Try to
Otherwise,
think.
I'm gonna head home to my family.
I don't have any burning questions on the top of my head. I think you answered.
Okay, right on. Well, thank you guys all so much for joining us. As always, it's been great hanging out with you guys. Be sure and let your friends know about the fun times we're having here on the 11 Winery live virtual happy hour. If your supplies are deleted. Phil, we pitched the case sale before you got here.
You just missed it.
But Phil's right, of course. If you are a wine club member, check your email. Details on the case sale coming up. If you're not a wine club member, what the heck are you thinking?
Yeah,
Join our wine club, and we have this amazing case sale coming up end of next week. 30 to 40% off. What? Craziness.
I know. I saw that.
So our tasting room continues to be open for bottle sales. Our website is open 24/7. It's incredible. Go there anytime. Hey, it's Charlie and Lacey at Cardis Winery. Hey guys.
If you guys if you enjoy our virtual happy hours and learning about our wines, we did just post a video today. It's about 40 minutes long about our 2019 harvest. So you guys can go ahead and watch. Matt, you documented the whole thing. And so if you guys want to see how that whole process goes and you have time on your hands, because I'm assuming some of you might, there's something to tune into.
Definitely check that video out. It's amazing. if you saw the fun little snippets of me saying making a wine, that's just like a very small snippet of the amount of fun that this movie.
Exactly.
Right on. Hang in there, people. We got this. And remember, it doesn't matter if your glass is half full or half empty. My glass is all the way empty. I definitely have room for more wine, and so do you. There's room for more wine. Take it easy, guys. We'll see you tomorrow at 5:30. What are we tasting tomorrow? Viognier O.
I'm so excited.
Definitely come back for that. We'll see you there.
See you there. Have a good night, you guys.
Good night, everybody.